Joao Gomes, let's have a conversation because he's another potential midfielder that Manchester United have been linked to. In this video, we'll have a conversation talking about Joao Gomes, the player, the links, where it's coming from, and we'll have a conversation because we know United are out track to go and get in a midfielder, and we'll talk about all the news that's come in surrounding Joao Gomes. So he's someone who has been linked to Manchester United for a while. We're now in April. He was linked to us in around January, in that sort of time where United were potentially going to go out and get a midfielder on loan. Now, this is what's being reported. Manchester United are exploring a move for Joao Gomes, admired for his energy, ball-winning ability and composure in midfield. Wolverhampton wonder if potential relegation could significantly lower his asking price. Now, let's look at sort of the conditions. The Wolves, they're bound to get relegated. They will get relegated. He's one of those players that has been linked with a Manchester United move. Now, he signed a contract for another 5 years last year until 2030. Keeping him at the club obviously for a while, but I think with the relegation he will be someone that leaves. He's ultimately a player who will leave Wolves and is a better player than Wolves in my opinion. And you look at sort of lots of the players that are going to leave Wolves. I think Andre will go as well. He's someone who's very, very good at that midfield. Potentially Strand Larsen's already left. Potentially a Jose Sarr. Like they will get rid. Mateus Mane could potentially want. So they will, I think, lose a lot of players if they do make it into the Premier League. Make it out of the Premier League. And Joao Gomes is certainly one of them now. He's 25. He plays in a midfield too with Andre, who's a fellow Brazilian. And I think he does have the sort of profile. I think someone who is not going to cost you 80-90 million pounds. He's not going to be sort of one of those sort of midfielders. He's going to be someone that you can get for relatively cheap, potentially 30-40 million pounds. You bring him into the team. And again, I think it'd be a good cover option. Just say you go out and get an Anderson or a Wharton and you bring him in as a potential option. I think he is better than Ugarte. Again, I think he's someone who, his main asset, he's not someone who controls the ball and dictates play, for example, like a Rodri. He's someone who just breaks up play, energy or action, midfielder really. And I think he's someone who could do it all. I think at 25, he's at the right age. And again, United are going to be a team on the lookout for midfielders, and I think we have to be smart. As I said, we're not going to have £300 million to go and get 3 top-level midfielders. I wish we could, but it's not going to happen. I think it'd be one of Anderson, Tonali, potentially Baleba. Then for that third choice, we're definitely looking at someone else that we need to bring in. So yeah, I think Joao Gomes is definitely an option. He's someone who's played in the Premier League. He's got a lot of good qualities. He does have a few years left on his deal. As I said, with Wolves going down into the relegation battle, I think he's definitely someone we can definitely take a look at. As I said, United's midfield strategy has to be clever because we know we're doing all sort of the work now as such. Looking at Tonali, whether that deal can get done. Looking at Anderson, Wharton, Baleba to assess scenarios. And again, these underground options like Tyler Adams, Ethan Amber, Joao Gomes, they're all viable options that can come in and do a great job for Manchester United. Premier League experience is not essential, but I think it's something that's key. I think we've seen it with the attackers that we signed this season. Having that Premier League experience under your belt is absolutely vital. And again, he has been linked with Manchester United before, so he's someone definitely to look at. In terms of other news, the left-back situation, Miles Lewis-Skelly is pushing for a move to United in search of more first-team minutes. United values versatility with the ability to play in left-back and both midfield. So that's what's come out from the Daily Mail. Again, still being reported. Talks are still definitely going on with Miles Lewis-Skelly. He's someone who, again, I think wants to stay at Arsenal long-term, but if he does put out a bit of potentially rumours driven by his agent or whatever to say that he wants to leave, would he potentially get more minutes? We'll see what does happen there. But I think Lewis-Skelly is definitely a good left back. He's someone who does have a lot of good qualities. He's young, he's versatile as well. So yeah, the report is still there. United obviously definitely interested in him. We'll see how much that develops going into the summer window. Now, in terms of Lisandro Martinez, he has returned to individual grass training as he steps up his recovery ahead of his return from injury will be a huge boost for Carrick's side. So again, that's a positive now. Again, it's good having Martinez back. I think you do miss his qualities when he's not in the team. He's a very good defender. His ability on the ball is fantastic. He's a leader, he's a warrior. But if we're being honest, does Martinez start against Leeds? I mean, you look at Yoro and Maguire and the way in which they've played. Obviously, Maguire is suspended, so you do expect him to come in and play against Leeds. In terms of if Maguire was not suspended, of course, I would keep Maguire and Yoro. I think they deserve on the ability. But again, this is a huge boost. Again, Maguire's suspension will keep him out for a few games. And again, just you hope Martinez is ready and fit. I mean, it's still a long time until Manchester United play it's still 11 or 12 days. So we have enough time to integrate Martinez properly and get him back into the squad, which is something that's absolutely vital. Now, in terms of Manchester United pre-season tour, it has been announced. So United will not do an Asia tour. This is the first time since, I think, 2002, not including COVID, that United haven't done this. So it's a European tour. Listen, we're kind of due all the reactions to that when we get close to it, but there's 6 games: Wrexham, Rosenborg, Atletico Madrid, PSG, and PSG, Leeds, and AC Milan. So a lot of European teams in there, obviously Wrexham, Rosenborg, as well as some other teams in there. So yeah, I mean, it does look like United won't be going on tour. I think it's good. We have more time at Carrington, and that ultimately does give us that priority to focus on going into the season. There's going to be a lot of changes at the club, and ultimately I think that decision is probably best. But yeah, there's some big games in there. Obviously, it's all pre-season for fitness. Ultimately, you want to see whoever that new manager is, hopefully implementing his style of play by then. If it's Carrick, then continuing on what we've seen. So yeah, that's been your latest news.